In this tutorial, I'm going to be discussing the list preview widget. The list preview is an easy way to show a preview of an already existing list, and it's an easy way to organize and format that preview. So in order to create a list preview, you will have to have already created a list widget in order to preview. You can watch the list tutorial in order to see how to create a list. You can see on the right here, this is the same list we used in that previous tutorial. So if we wanted to create a preview for this list and only show a few items and not the entire list, we can simply create a list preview. You would go to add a widget, and it's located right next to the list. Simply create a list preview. Let's go ahead and go back and move this on top of the list so that it loads before the list. And then once you open it, it's going to ask you to choose which widget you want to preview. So you can simply see the drop down. We only have one list, so you would simply choose that widget. If you have multiple widgets, you'll be able to choose which one you want to preview. Once you select that, you can determine the number of items that are shown. We just want to show 3 items. And you can also determine the order that they're shown in, such as the default and manual list order is determined by the actual list itself that you're previewing. It's going to show it in that order. Or you can show the most recent to oldest or the oldest to most recent, organize it by date if you want to do that as well, and you can organize it differently than the actual list. And the item style is what's previewed and what we see for the preview, such as if you want to see just the title plus the abstract. We can see that once we save it, it's going to show us 3 previews right there, just the title and just the abstract, and it got the date there as well. But if you want to see something different, you can do just the title and the image. And that's actually going to show the images for them, and then the list is actually beneath that. So you can see, you can determine what's previewed. You could do just the title only if you want to take up a lot less space, and that's going to be just those 3 titles. And then if they were to open one, it would actually show that entire list item. They'd be able to scroll it up and down, and how it is opened is determined by the actual list itself. If you want to change this into open in a modal or a separate page, you would have to edit the actual list itself that it's previewing. But for the list preview widget, it's very easy to use. You'd simply choose the widget that you want to preview, the number of items shown on the preview, how it's ordered, and what you want to see with the item style. And you can even organize it, the columns on mobile versus desktop. That should be something you're probably already familiar with already, as well as the additional options. Pretty easy to use. If you want to hide this on mobile or desktop, you can flip any of these switches, and you can flip this if you want to be logged in order to actually see the preview. And the additional styles are just like all the other widgets. If you want to add a nice background or custom widget classes with some CSS, you can do that right here. Very easy to add backgrounds to the preview, and you can do that separately from the actual list itself. So you can see we just add a nice simple gray background to the preview. Now the preview is highlighted with the background. The actual list itself remains the same, and you can determine how the preview looks right with these settings.